Brooklyn Independent Television.
Welcome to Neighborhood Beat, your passport to Brooklyn. I'm your host, Laurie Cumbo, and today I'm going to take you on an exciting ride throughout Bed-Stuy. In this episode, we're going to jam with the musicians of Victoire. Followed by that, we're going to the Billie Holiday Theater as they celebrate their 40th anniversary. And then, hold on as we prepare for an evening of glitz, glamour, and fashion at the legendary Sugar Hill as we honor the Noel Pointer Foundation. And then we're going to sample savory Southern cuisine at Peach's Hot House on Tompkins Avenue. Stay tuned. Weeksville is a historical community founded in the 1830s by African Americans and named after Mr. James Weeks. It's located now in what is considered the Bedford-Stuyvesant Crown Heights community of Brooklyn, New York. The land, originally purchased from the Lefferts family, was home to over 500 African Americans by the 1850s. With the growth of Brooklyn, it began to decline, but was rediscovered in 1968 and preserved through the support of passionate individuals. They recently celebrated their groundbreaking on a brand new building that will preserve this important legacy to Bedford-Stuyvesant. To learn more, visit www.weeksvillesociety.org. Formed by Missy Mazzoli, a visionary composer and keyboardist based right here in Bed-Stuy, Victoire is a unique all-star, all-female quintet that combines a dreamy postmodern sound with indie chamber electronica. Now let's go meet the all-girl power band whose sound is chicly unique.
Missy Mazzoli, and I'm the composer and founder of the band Victoire. We have been together making music for about 3 years. And I've been living in New York for 2 years at that point. I've been working as a composer and running music festivals, but I really missed performing. And I really wanted to get my 4 best friends together in a room to make music and also to be in the band and perform it myself.
Missy and I's instruments are kind of the odd ones out, but also a very special part of the group because we do all electronic stuff. I have a digital analog synthesizer. I do processing sounds. I do different electronic effects. So in that sense, I don't really fit in with the whole chamber sound, but that's actually one of the things that I enjoy most about playing in Victoire is that twist on the traditional chamber expectations, because you do hear parts of it, because obviously Missy is a really well-trained composer and she can write really well for chamber music, but then we add that extra quirky element and it just makes it very unique.
There's a whole generation of musicians out there who were trained classically but grew up listening to different kinds of music. That kind of omnivorous spirit tends to reach out to and touch a lot of different audiences. We have people who come to our shows who've never been to a classical show before. It's kind of taking that classical tradition and then exploring where can we go with this. And we're all really good at our instruments, great, but how can we further push those boundaries?
The hardest question anyone can ask me is what kind of music do you write? Because I don't know. I'm trying to create a new sort of genre, and everything I write is sort of this coming together of all my influences. I really love classical music. I love classical instruments. I love going to hear orchestras. But also, grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I love indie rock, and I love pop music, and I love jazz, and I love sort of all these different things. So I think that the music that I make is really all of those influences coming together. So the music for Victoire, sometimes they say, oh, it's indie classical, or alt classical, or indie pop. Sometimes I just say, oh, well, it's new music for old instruments, because what gives the band its sound is really the string instruments. We have a violin, we have a double bass, and we also have a clarinet, and then we have 2 keyboards, which are very modern sounding, and then all these electronic sounds that sort of bring it into the 21st century. So with every song, with every piece, I'm trying to create a new genre. I'm trying to do something totally new. So when people are like, well, what kind of music do you write? It's hard to talk about it without comparing it to something in the past. And I don't think it has many comparisons to things that have happened before.
The first time that I ever played Missy's music was actually before I really knew her. And I had heard this piece of hers called Horizonte. I never told her this, but I used to play it like almost every night, and it just, her music alone outside of her wonderful personality is what spoke to me the most. And so I'm really honored to be playing her music in this group.
Well, I think the genre has nothing to do with the fact that we're women. I think that's just a coincidence. We're all very adventurous, both as people and as musicians. And it was just sort of a fortuitous thing that we all happen to be women and happen to have the same kind of vision for this group. We've sort of grown together as a group, and every new experience is part of our sound and our group dynamic.
Overall, it's been really amazing, and like the response from the press has been really good. And I love it because it's sort of, we've been getting really good press from classical outlets as well as indie rock outlets. What's great is not just what they're saying, but that they're even reviewing us at all, and really hear it as classical music. It's always sort of the first and last question that I get is, what is this called? What is this music? And the older I get and the longer I write music and the more music I write, the less I have an answer for that. And I'm like, I really don't know. You just have to listen to it.
Bedford-Stuyvesant includes the village of Bedford, founded in 1663 by the Dutch West India Company. Now, Stuyvesant Heights was founded by Peter Stuyvesant, who was a major player in the development of New York City. By the 1800s, Bedford-Stuyvesant had become a working-class community, and by the 1900s, it was a community where many African Americans migrated from the south to the north, my family included. We hope that you'll come to Bedford-Stuyvesant and see what we've known all along. Now in its 40th year, the Billie Holiday Theater was founded in 1972 in order to bring brilliant theater to the community of Bedford-Stuyvesant and to give writers, directors, and actors an opportunity to hone their skills. Such brilliant actors as John Amos, Debbie Allen, Samuel L. Jackson have all graced the stage in order to make Billie Holiday Theater one of the most well-renowned theaters in the United States.
My name's Marjorie Moon, and I'm the executive director of Billie Holiday Theater. And as the producer for Billie Holiday Theater, I select the plays that we do, contract with playwrights, directors, the actors, essentially make it happen with an incredible crew. And then we go into the rehearsal process. And essentially 3 weeks is what we do, and we get the show up, and the audiences come in.
Pat Ennis.
I'm playing in the role as Uncle Pat in the play The Waiting Room. He's a character. He knows a lot about everybody's family tree and is not afraid to tell it.
I don't wear no cologne that don't come from the Piggly Wiggly all over my body.
Oh, sugar! I like that!
The show we're producing right now is written by Sam Art Williams. He's nominated for a Tony for Home. And he was just here a couple of weeks ago to watch the show, and Sam has a resume that goes on forever and ever. Executive producer of The Fresh Prince, executive producer of Martin. Marjorie picked this show to open. It's a comedy, a feel-good Southern drama. She always focuses on what her audiences are looking for.
When I was growing up, my mom brought me to a play here. It was Your Aunt's Too Short to Box a Guy. And then I received an email about this play, and I told my husband that it would be interesting. So today is our anniversary, so we decided to come out and celebrate.
My name is Peggy Alston. I'm one of the founding members of the company here. I also grew up in the community. It's been a part of my life since I can remember. My first production was Vampire and the Dentist. As children growing up, we were always told you're disadvantaged, you're underprivileged, you're this, you're that. Everything that happened here at the theater talked about our promise as a people. From the very beginning, there was a richness in the community that we were aware of always, but Restoration helped underscore that.
Bedford-Stuyvesant Restoration Corporation is the founding corporation for the theater. People have wanted me to defend the name. She was a brilliant artist. And so I say that her life might have been very different if she'd gotten the kind of support that she needs. So here we are supporting wonderful artists, and we're going to give them that support and development that they need. I love to point out Tashina Arnold, who was a part of our Bubblegum Players. That was our children's company back in the early 80s. Tashina Arnold, of course, plays the mom, and everybody hates Chris. And she was the best friend of the girlfriend in Martin. And she started right here at the Billie Holiday Theater. Samuel Jackson came up from Atlanta, Georgia, and his first professional plays were right here at the Billie Holiday Theater. He said, I can do anything in the theater. Just give me a chance. We gave him that chance. Don Amos and Ralph Carter from Good Times, they had their reunion right here in 1990 in a play called The Past is the Past. Debbie Allen had already done her Broadway debut in the musical Raisin, but she was out of work. So she had an 8-week stint here at the Billie Holiday Theater in a musical called Music Magic. It also starred unknown talents Alex Briley and Victor Willis, who were members of the Village People.
The theater is a training ground for so many actors. I mean, the big names, you know. What it really serves as a training ground for new actors and a lot of older actors who come back.
What the Billie Holiday Theater means to me is family. They've embraced me in a way that I never would have dreamed.
This is my training ground, and that's why I'm still here trying to give back and work with new artists, because it's a great place to learn and grow.
How does one quantify 40 years? It's a testament to the work that we do and to our fabulous, wonderful audiences that support us.
I met some people who saw shows 40 years ago, and they are very proud of the theater. They're very proud to have it here. And there's still some people who don't know that it's here. You know, they know Restoration Plaza, but they don't know about the Billie Holiday Theater. But it's exciting.
This is the first time I've been in a long time, but it won't be my last. I'm going to definitely be looking out for some upcoming plays.
10 years from now, I'd like to see first the Billie Holiday still here. And I hope there are plays being produced all over the country by African-American playwrights who had their first show produced here at the Billie Holiday.
I'd like to think that what we do here at the Billie Holiday Theater has a spiritual connection with our audiences. I'm really kind of grateful. It deals with the heart. It deals with what's real. That makes them want to come back. And I think that's what sustains us.
I'm always shopping in Bed-Stuy for the latest of everything. Like tonight, I'm planning a night out on the town at the legendary Sugar Hill nightclub, where the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium will be honoring Chinita Pointer of the Noel Pointer Foundation. It's going to be an incredible evening. My first stop will be the studio for Tasha West Jewelry to meet with Lorraine. She creates beautiful customized pieces and will help me pull my look together for this evening's festivities. Now tell me a little bit about how did all of this get started? Where are you from? Why Bedford-Stuyvesant? Tell me the magic that made you Tasha West Designs.
Okay, I'm from Central Islip, New York, and I've been living in Bed-Stuy for the past 4 years, and I love it. Bedford-Stuyvesant has amazing architecture, which I feel like my designs are inspired by architecture.
So tell us about how your career in jewelry design began.
I'm a trained illustrator. I studied at Fashion Institute of Technology. I always loved jewelry growing up, so any piece that I make, I want it to work, I want it to last. I've designed for Erykah Badu, brass wings and leather wing cuffs that, you know, are adjustable. I've worked with Common, Raphael Sadiq.
Tell me about what is encompassed in a collection.
Usually you'd have an earring, a stud, or a dangler. a ring, a bracelet like this, or a cuff, a necklace, or a bib.
If I wanted to have something custom made specifically just for me, how would I go about that process?
Once we have the idea, then I'll start to do sketches, and with that, I'll make a pattern. Once I do that, I'll cut the metal, then I'll file the metal down, then I'll do a final finish. Either I can do a matte finish, a high gloss finish, or I can antique the metal.
You'll see me in Bedford-Stuyvesant wearing the Tasha West collection.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I'm heading over to Not Just Vintage for the perfect outfit to finish my look. LaMonica has a wonderful eye for design and detail. This is going to be fun.
My name is LaMonica Peterson, and I am the owner and creative director of Not Just Vintage. Not Just Vintage is a modernized vintage/thrift store. You can find vintage clothing, but we try to keep it modern. We try to follow the trends. You can find current pieces, independent designers like Harriet's Alter Ego, Purple Pillbox. Not Just Vintage, we have our own accessory line, costume jewelry. You can find new handbags, an old 1970 handbag. It's a variety of things you can find in here. We wanted it to be affordable, we wanted it to be a thrift store, but already handpicked. Your goods are already here. All you have to do is kind of go through and see what you like. Well, I knew I had to pick out a few dresses for Laurie, and I've seen her in classic vintage blouses, so I knew that each piece had to be classy.
So LaMonica just helped me pick out these 3 fabulous outfits for my night out on the town, and I can't wait to try them on. I like this dress. It hugs me in all the right places. I feel so Jackie from 227. Ooh, Sandra! I'm looking good coming and going. Very pretty. Oh, wow. I love the way this fits. It's a very classy retro dress. I love these earrings by Tasha West. What I like about them is that they're so contemporary, but yet this dress is so retro. But I can't decide which one I like the best, if I like the black one or the burgundy one. Oh, this is it. This is the dress. Wow, I love the color. This is a vintage dress at its finest. Now this jacket is actually my jacket that I brought. It's best if you can sometimes bring a little piece with you. So I love the color and the earrings, gorgeous. These earrings are all handmade and they just came from Tasha West's new line. This is the dress for tonight. As you can see, I've just been styled by LaMonica of Not Just Vintage, and I love my new vintage look. I'm so excited. Please join me as we're on our way now to the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium's 12th anniversary, where they will be honoring Chinita Pointer of the Noel Pointer Foundation. The Noel Pointer Foundation has been providing school-aged children with exposure to music and music lessons from professional musicians. Chinita Pointer is the wife of the late Noel Pointer. We recently caught up with her to learn more.
Noel Pointer was my husband. He was a world-renowned jazz violinist and recording artist and composer. He was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. He studied violin at an early age of 9, and he went on to LaGuardia High School to perform at Manhattan School of Music. That's when Noel actually got his first recording deal with Blue Note Records. Every time I look at Channel 13 and I see the orchestras and I think about how many people of color do you see in these orchestras on Channel 13? And you can actually count them on one hand. I said the best way that we could keep his legacy alive is to provide string music instruction to kids in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
I love my class so much. They sometimes make me laugh and stuff, but when I get serious for the violin. I like it good because I get to learn how to play violin and show it to my family every time.
This is Kalila Coombs, who was the first student who got accepted into Juilliard Music Advanced program. Music plays a very important role in kids' academics, and all of our kids have gone on to higher studies. The CBJC Award means a lot to me, and because Noel was a jazz violinist, and because it is the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium, having that background and being a community person that he was is so fitting.
This year we're proud to honor Ms. Janita Pointer, was founder of the Noel Pointer Foundation. She went ahead and founded an institution to work with the youth of our community. Present you with this award.
I thank you so much for this honor. It means so much to me and the community. Thank you so much.
You go, Chanita. Wow, what an incredible evening. It was an amazing night. It was both an honor and a privilege to be here as the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium celebrated their 12th anniversary by honoring Chanita Pointer of the Noel Pointer Foundation with their Founders Day Award. What could be better? It was an amazing night. Join me as we celebrate and continue the adventure in Bedford-Stuyvesant. After opening the Smoke Joint in Fort Greene and Peaches on Lewis Avenue right in the heart of Bedford-Stuyvesant, Ben Grossman and Craig Samuel decided to come together to open up Peaches Hot House right here on Tompkins Avenue. This incredible restaurant offers not only a good time, but an incredible menu, like Grandma Ada's meatloaf, or get this, the highfalutin jambalaya. It's delicious.
My name is Craig Samuel, and I'm the owner of the Smoke Joint Group in Brooklyn. The Smoke Joint Group is comprised of the Smoke Joint, which was our original restaurant, Peaches in Bed-Stuy, Peaches Hot House, also in Bed-Stuy, and our newest is the Little Brother Barbecue. Right now we're at Peaches Hot House on Tompkins and Hancock. We named the restaurant Peaches Hot House after the hot chicken that we serve. It's Nashville-style hot chicken.
Craig and I are classically trained chefs. We've been doing this, Craig for 20 years, me for 18 years. We have worked in some of the finest dining establishments in New York, in France, in Spain. What we wanted to do is bring some of that food back to where we were from. So here at Peaches Hot House, we have a menu segment called Baked Grits. We take a little bit of olive oil in the pan. We have oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushroom, cremini mushroom. We hit that with a little bit of caramelized onions. Hit it with a little salt, a little black pepper, green onion. We fill the bottom of this baking dish. And then we already have these beautiful Anson Mills grits. We put it right over the top of the mushrooms. And then top it with a little bit of our farmhouse cheddar, aged Parmesan cheese, and we pop it in our oven to bake. After about 6-7 minutes in this hot oven, and we have a beautiful baked grits with market mushrooms. Well, Craig and I are both from Brooklyn, born and bred. I grew up in Flatbush. Craig grew up in Bed-Stuy. We love Bed-Stuy because of the reception that we've gotten.
One of our favorite dishes is a low country rice bowl. It's got meat and fish and vegetables, and it's just really a wonderful dish that you just can't find anywhere. This is our updated jambalaya. We're adding a bunch of different flavors from the past with some of the flavors from the present. We've got caramelized onions and garlic, sweet red onion, andouille, which is very traditional, and Gulf shrimp, stewed tomatoes, and fresh Maine crab. Now that's one of the ingredients that we added in to make it a little more interesting.
So where do we start?
You're going to add these first two ingredients in. I have nothing but faith in you.
Okay, now I'm going to add the sausage
in. Mm-hmm. And just want to stir that together. And at this point, I think you can go ahead and add the shrimp in. I'm going to let that go for about 2 minutes.
We're adding a little salt.
And a little cracked black pepper. So
It
you're the
smells
best.
delicious.
And add the tomatoes in. This is Carolina Gold rice. We cooked it with some fresh tomatoes and garlic. Add just a little bit of vegetable stock. So after a couple of minutes, you see the shrimp are just about cooked through. We just add the rice at the bottom of this pan. Some of the tomatoes.
Now we're going to put the shrimp.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. You're a natural. Now I'm going to pull out the secret ingredient.
Ooh.
Slow cooked stuff.
You are so highfalutin.
The last ingredient
Okay.
is this jumbo lump crab meat.
So this is a French-inspired Southern cuisine dish in the heart of Bedford-Stuyvesant.
You said it.
I love it. Now this is highfalutin jambalaya.
I believe that good food should be affordable. In the last few years, everyone is talking about local food and sustainable food. But the one thing that I've noticed is anything that's organic or all natural is so much more expensive. It's extremely important to me to provide people with a quality experience without breaking their bank. On Lewis Avenue, we also have Peaches Events, which is a complete event management company. You can order food from any of our 4 restaurants, and you can also use the space right up the street from Peaches. One of the things I'm most proud of is that we've been able to hire and retain employees who live in the community. All of our restaurants are in Brooklyn, and they're all very easy to get to. So come on down, we'd love to see you.
So I'm about to dive in and have a bite of this delicious, spectacular, magnificent, classic apple pie. You have got to come down to Peaches Hot House on Tompkins Avenue in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and you have to have some of this, because this classic apple pie is not your average apple pie. This is something special. Well, that does it for this episode of Neighborhood Beat Bed-Stuy. I really enjoyed showing you around the neighborhood, and I hope that this episode will show you why Bed-Stuy is truly the place to be. To learn more or to watch past episodes, please visit us online at brickartsmedia.org/BIT. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
You're watching the BCAT TV network.